We saw that today. We saw a bus driver who cared about the children on that bus, and he used his training to protect those children. And if we have a hero, it's going to be the bus driver. And we're not going to identify him today, but at some point we will. But he just did a great job. We're going to show you a video in a few minutes, and it's going to show some of what happened on the bus, so you can actually see and hear how calm he was, how controlled he was, and how his training was put to good use. The bus drivers recently just went through a training on how to deal with a situation with someone on the bus, an active shooter, and we saw the results of that training today with the bus driver that was on this bus. And we also want to talk about the kids that were on the bus. You know, we unfortunately have to teach our kids how to respond to an active shooter in situations like they were encountered this morning. And they did what they needed to do. They did not get upset. They were scared to death. There were 6 minutes. 6 minutes they were traumatized. 6 complete minutes that the bad guy was on the bus with a gun. But they were not hysterical. They did what they were trained to do, and I think that all contributed to having a very successful result of what happened this morning. But it was 6 minutes of a bad guy on a bus with a gun who was very desperate. He is under arrest. He's charged with 19 counts of kidnapping, armed robbery, carjacking, pointing, presenting, use of a weapon to a violent crime, and unlawful carry of a weapon on school property. His name is Javon Colasso. He's 23 years old, from New Jersey. It was a very scary situation this morning. Been sheriff for 25 years, been a cop for 46 years, and this is the first time that I've ever had a call like I had this morning, where we had an armed person on a school bus that had hijacked and kidnapped a bunch of kids. And I cannot tell you the emotions that you feel when you hear something like that, not just as a sheriff, but as a parent who's had my children ride a school bus too. That is probably one of the scariest things that you can hear, is that someone's on a school bus and it's kidnapped a bunch of kids and they're armed. Our deputies trained for that situation, hoping we'd never have to put that training to use, but we do train. The school districts have given us a school bus, and we train our special response team on how to get on a bus and quickly get people off safely. Fortunately, we didn't have to do that this morning, but we were ready and we were prepared. The response this morning was great from the community, who was calling us tips, and also from law enforcement in this area. The Sheriff's Department, we flooded the area with our deputies. Columbia Police Department flooded the area. South Carolina Highway Patrol joined us. We had lots of cops there that were able to control the scene and contain the scene to be able to catch Colasso very quickly. Again, it started at Fort Jackson with Colasso, who is a trainee. This is his 3rd week of training at Fort Jackson. He escaped from Fort Jackson armed with a rifle that had been assigned to him. Tried to stop some cars and get in the car. Was unsuccessful. And as you'll see in a few minutes, you'll see as the kids were getting on the bus, he forced his way onto the bus, forced the driver to drive the bus, and then at some point he had the bus stopped and got everybody off, and then he continued to drive the bus a short distance, where he abandoned the bus and took off on foot. With all the people in the area that we had and calls we were getting, we were able to find him at Purcell Road, Alpine Road, and 77, where he was arrested. We're going to show a video. We're not going to show you all the videos that we had on the bus. The bus had great cameras. We have lots of videos, but I just don't think it's appropriate to show these kids on the bus. So what you're going to see is Colasso coming to the bus, getting on the bus. You'll hear him giving instructions and threats to the bus driver. You'll be able to see the bus driver on how he handled it. Then you'll see Colosso drive off in the bus, and then you'll see him get out of the bus. This is his picture. The kids and the bus driver are off the bus now. That is just a few seconds of the 6 minutes that these kids and the bus driver were very traumatized and feared their life. They were not physically hurt, but you can just imagine how they feel and what they're going to have to live with. We've got the school district with us, Baron Davis, the superintendent, the chairman of the school board. They've worked hand in hand with us. I applaud them for the training that they give the bus drivers and support that they've given the bus driver and also the kids and the parents as a result of what happened this morning. This didn't end this morning. It will continue for quite some time. Everybody involved in this will need counseling and lots of support. But again, you had a bad situation, but you had some good stuff. And the good stuff was the bus driver and the kids, the response from the community, and a response from law enforcement to make sure that we put a successful end to this incident this morning. Questions?
Sheriff, there was some talk earlier today about that the children had said some things to him, apparently caused some frustration among the person who's accused of this. Any idea what was said or how that went down, how that interaction went down?
Yeah, the kids were asking questions. Are you a soldier? Are you going to hurt us? Are you going to hurt the bus driver? So they were being kids, and they were being kids. You had 18 kids, various age, and they were being kids, and they were asking lots of questions. And so I think that added to the frustration that he had trying to get away. And if that went into his mind, I don't know, but it was shortly thereafter that he had the bus driver just stop the bus and get everybody off.
Sheriff, do we know if he was under the influence of any type of alcohol or drugs?
No, we don't believe whatsoever that had anything to do with it.
Sheriff, do we have any indication that this was pre-planned, or is this something that happened spur of the moment this morning?
We don't know. That's what we're still working on. We're working with authorities at Fort Jackson to look at his past since he's been there, talking to people that's been with him, other trainees, just to see. So that's part of the continuing investigation that we'll carry on.
Has Colosso shown any remorse in interviews today, now that he's in custody, or about what he's done?
He's caught. He's arrested.
Sheriff, it looked like he had a backpack. Is that a backpack that he was wearing?
They wear that. I think they probably have water in it. That's what the trainees have when they're in training.